Saturday, August 5th, 2023.
I'm headed down to somewhere, got my pickaxe in my hand. Yes, I'm headed down to somewhere, got my pickaxe in my hand. I'm headed down to somewhere, God knows where I am. Folks say to be the very best, you gotta travel across the land. But I'm happy here at pretty good, just out walking with my friends. So you can fly from coast to coast for all the antics of ends. But my destiny's here in Tennessee, my Pokédex in hand. You run your laps chasing lickitung in Providence, and you arc your throws for Electabuzz in St. Louis. But when you're lost in Boston seeking Pokestops, boo-hoo, we'll all still be spinning them up on Rocket Top. It's true. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our Togepi's here in Tennessee at our own predestined pace. We don't need Tanglers from Los Angeles. If you're there chasing Charizard, you're making your life way too hard. Clutching garlic, pounding pavement down Ventura Boulevard. We don't need Nidoqueens from down New Orleans. I hate to rain on solo you, but parades need a willing crew. All those squirtles on St. Charles saw you wandering and withdrew. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our Togepi's here in Tennessee at our own predestined pace. We don't need Lapras from Minneapolis or Polipers from Mississippers. There's enough Weedles on Monteagle, we could evolve a swarm of Beedrill. There's enough Snubbull down to Shovel, we could team Sled with Grumble. We don't need Oregon from out in Oregon, or any Pikachus from up in Massachusetts. Sorry, Professor Oklahoma, we'll raid gyms in Tullahoma. Sorry, Pokecoin Palooka, we'll hatch on hikes in Chattanooga. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our Togepi's here in Tennessee at our own predestined pace. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our togepies here in Tennessee at our own predestined pace. The summer is past, but your days keep growing longer. There's no wind in your sails, but the storm's blowing stronger. Walking hard, standing tall, keeping your head up through it all. Fighting fires, spinning plates. Goodness, how'd it get so late? Lay your head down and dream. 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 Just let your mind flow downstream. Sprawl out in a moonbeam. Lay your head down and dream. Joe Hills is filmed before a live streaming audience.
That's us. Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and tonight y'all are my live streaming audience. We are currently doing some replay mod exports for the upcoming episode on XB Crafted's fantastic little minigame. So that'll take a minute, obviously. So, in the meantime, we got some other stuff we can do. Let's see, we got the setting up stream sign. We've got the abacus. There's something about the two of those I'm supposed to do. Oh, yeah, that's right. We go ahead and we remove the setting up stream sign once I remind folks that this is a viewer-supported stream and tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Welcome to Sasha B, Jasper, Laura Morgan, Triforce, Sorrygull, Ferret Terrier. Welcome Dog, Axel Music Boy. Welcome Kindless, Magenta Avocado, Microbird. Glad y'all are here in the Discord chat as well as the YouTube chat. Just as a reminder as well, we've got a new schedule for announcing when streams will be at joehills.net/soon. New stream schedule. I'm going to go ahead and link that and pin it as well. And this is kind of an experimental feature, but I'm happy with it so far. It has been quite the day. It has been quite the day. Welcome, Senior Veritaro, as well as D. Fostar. Glad you could join us. It was a very busy day today. I actually got to pick up my daughter from the airport. Hey, welcome, Sunflower Dragon. My daughter's been off visiting the other side of the family for the summer and is now back here at home for the school year. So I am very excited to have her back. We did some school supply purchasing. We got, yeah. Oh man, I gotta say, this unaccompanied minor pickups are never easy at the airport. Like, I mean, it's just not something I think they want to do. And so as a result, the process is super awkward. I actually got sent back, but I got to the front of the security line. The guy scanned my ID, looked at my thing, and was like, no, you need to go back to the ticket counter. I'm like, why? He's like, there's an inconsistency between your identification and your boarding pass. And I'm like, well, it's not really a boarding pass. It's an unaccompanied minor pickup. And he's like, the ticketing agent can fix it. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. What's the inconsistency? And he's like, it's up to the ticketing agent to recognize and fix it. Okay. And he gave me a sheet of paper with instructions for the ticketing agent to fix my ID and boarding pass and to print me off a new boarding pass and send me back. I'm like, okay, so apparently this happens often enough. They have cards pre-printed to hand me about this. And when I got there, one of the guys was like, what? I've never had that happen. And then one of the other guys at the ticketing desk was like, no, they did that to another unaccompanied minor pickup like 2 weeks ago. I think it's probably that his middle name isn't in the unaccompanied minor pickup form. And they're like, but that doesn't get printed on the boarding pass anyway. It's like, yeah, I know, but if it's on the ID and it's not in the computer, when they check it, they're going to send it back. And so they fixed that, and they let me through. But it was like a whole thing. Also, the flight was delayed by like 2 hours. But I was already like on my way to the airport when I found out that my daughter's flight was delayed, because there was a Grand Prix race in Nashville this morning and afternoon and evening, and so I needed to stay ahead of the traffic. Since I don't have my own car, I had to take a lift. So anyway, yes, I am a little bit tired, Ferret Terrier. Good guess that I am a little tired. So we have a replay mod render that I started this last night, and there was a problem with it, so I had to restart it a few hours ago, and it's, well, I guess 1 hour and 47 minutes ago. I was like, 90 minutes should be enough to start. It'll be done before the stream starts. And it's just like, nope, this is the most intense render ever. Look at the intensity. Witness the intensity. So anyway, yeah. So we've got that going for us. Stephanie Hall says, how's setting up the stream going? Good. We actually need to take down that sign because we've already posted the tipping link. Yeah. We've got a whole song though for people asking about this. Why don't we play that? We haven't played that for a while.
"8:30 p.m. the usual streaming setup. Turn on the lights, make sure they're bright and gleam. Title, tweet, pour water, tank top, and chroma. OBS seems all set, so I click start the streaming. So I'll pause, fold in, and open VLC. I'll pick 2 songs before lay your head down and dream. I'll say that's us to y'all, Joe Hills from Tennessee. Folks asking when will my stream begin? After howdy, it's items and chest tools breaking. Pick us when proof while talking to you professional Minecrafter here, there's no mistaking. So I'll click crafting quick and real time and chat pick, then I'll replace the books and random chests with care. I'll draw my winery, I'm sure there's blocks somewhere, and then I'll hush and hush and hush and hush chat swear. Not any closer to recording. Folks keep asking and asking and asking and asking, when will my stream begin? Seriously, y'all, I need to record this next episode I've been working toward. I can't edit without footage, no. Once I'm all geared up, maybe we can start the show.
Whew. Maybe we can start the show. Let's take down... Oh, we already took it down. We're one step ahead of everything tonight. Oh, boy. Okay. So... yeah, I have something a little different tonight. You know, we used to do Dracula on Saturdays, and that was fun. But I was thinking maybe we'll do something a little bit different. We've got some Shakespeare coming up. I'm going to be attending, and so is Quinn and my fiance, a performance of King Lear. And that got me thinking, maybe it'd be good to familiarize myself a little bit better once more with the play. Now, you know, there's something there. There's something there. Shakespeare has a bunch of stuff out there. I could read some of it on stream on Saturday nights, right? Magenta Avocado writes, Dracula Saturdays hold a special place in my heart. Yep, so I got to thinking, what if we read King Lear over the course of 5 weeks? One act, I think King Lear has 5 acts, if I'm reading this correctly. Yeah. Act 1 has 5 scenes, Act 2 has 4 scenes, Act 3 has 7 scenes, Act 4 has 7 scenes, and Act 5 has 3 scenes. That could be something interesting to do, but I don't know if we want to take that on this week. For one thing, I don't have anybody here to help me read it, and it would be more fun to do this with other people. Also, I'm looking at it, and I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these words. So, for example, Act 1, Scene 1, a room of state in King Lear's palace. Now, I kind of want to do the Dracula thing to some degree, where we do different voices for the different characters. And I love the idea of using the far too serious voice that I used for Jonathan Harker's internal monologue in Dracula for the stage directions, like, enter Kent. And then, so that sounds good. Enter Kent, right? We've got the ent syllable repeating there. It's got a little bit of a cadence to it. Here's the problem. The third word in this is a word that the British are going to claim I'm mangling. Enter Kent, Gloucester, and Edmund. The British are going to say that you don't pronounce it Gloucester. And so, obviously, until I can get over that small hurdle, today is not the best day to start reading this, especially because there's 3 people in the room and one of them has an unpronounceable name, right? Then we have the task of figuring out which voices to give which people. Now, there's actually a great resource online with a list of King Lear characters by name or by line. By line count. Characters by part sizes, right? So we can go to characters by part sizes, and then we can add a filter to only include Lear, because this actually contains every play of Shakespeare's, this tool that I'm about to link. So, ShakespeareWords.com has this line counter thing. Lear, King of Britain, has 749 lines in King Lear. Edgar, son of Gloucester, later disguised as poor Tom. Well, I mean, that's a little bit of a spoiler there. 392 lines. So we need to make sure we give Edgar a good voice. The Earl of Kent, later disguised as Caius, another spoiler, 368 lines. So we need to give him a good voice. And then the Earl of Gloucester has 338 lines. Neon Wyvern says, I'm Canadian, and I think you are mangling that word. Then we are on to Lear's Fool, 227 lines. Then we get into the daughters. Goneril with 199, Lear's eldest daughter, the Duchess of Albany. Regan, Lear's second daughter, the Duchess of Cornwall with 190 lines. Then the Duke of Albany with 159. Finally, Cordelia, Lear's youngest daughter with 117 lines. Then the Duke of Cornwall with 109 lines. And then we get into, like, a bunch of unnamed people, like Gentleman, Messenger, Doctor, Knight, Old Man, Herald, Duke of Burgundy, whatever that is. Basically, So Stephanie Hall says, who should be Artie, the strongest man in the world? Exactly. So I don't think I want to do Lear as Artie, the strongest man in the world, because that will kill me. I when I got to those parts in Dracula where Van Helsing had a point of view chapter, it was a lot. But so to some degree though, Lear's Fool with 227 lines might be a good choice for that, right? So we're doing some character notes here. This is not exactly the same as blocking out a play, but we're kind of sorting out some ideas here. So we've got Lear, we've got Edgar, we've got Kent, we've got Gloux. I can't even spell this. I should copy and paste it, but so we've got Lear, Edgar, Kent. We've got Edmund, the son of Gloucester. We've got Lear's Fool. So I think Artie for the Fool is probably going to be a good counterpoint to Lear. Now, we did Dracula himself with the friendly Joe Hill's Southern accent. And we did Harker with the Ted Theodore Logan voice. I kind of like the idea of doing the Ted Theodore Logan voice as Lear, because Keanu Reeves is Canadian, and I'm going to see King Lear performed in Canada, and that makes some sense to me, right? Oh, wait, hold on. It occurs to me, that we could drop this in here. Okay. Look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Okay. So we could have Lear in the Ted Theodore Logan. Oh my gosh. Voice. We could have the Fool in Artie, the strongest man in the world voice. But we're gonna test some of these voices today. We're gonna pick some of these parts, and we're gonna see if these voices work for them. For Gloucester, I mean, that sounds like a Massachusetts name to me. So I think maybe we'll do that as the Dr. Seward. So we'll do like the Cape Cod accent. And for Edmund, we are going to do modified Cape Cod. I'm not sure because he's son of Gloucester. We're not going to touch... for Goneril, maybe we do the New Jersey aunt voice, which is kind of how my aunts from New Jersey talk. That we use that voice for Harker's wife in Dracula, Mina Harker. Okay. So we've got Edgar. Oh, he's another son. Okay. So he's another son of... So we might have a whole Cape Cod family here. So elderly Cape Cod. Modified Cape Cod, question mark. So we've got 3 Cape Cod accents all at once. And that's going to be a whole thing. Ted Theodore Logan's voice will work for Lear. It works. Ted Theodore Logan's voice works for any Shakespearean character, because Shakespearean characters ask hypothetical questions a lot and then answer them in a way that works very well with that voice. Okay, So if we think through our Dracula party, we had Dr. Seward with the Cape Cod accent. We had Harker with the Ted Theodore Logan accent. We had Van Helsing with the Artie the Strongest Man in the World accent. We had Mina with the New Jersey Ant accent. So we have a few voices that we haven't assigned yet that I can do pretty consistently. We've got the Beetlejuice accent, and we've got my kind of okay. Oh wait, I need to put in stage directions. That's gonna be the far too serious voice. Assuming I can spell right. Far too serious voice. Okay. So some of these other smaller characters we can figure out as we go. But yeah. Ooh, I can set a background opacity here. Hold on. Does that actually matter? Oh, yeah, that's actually really helpful. Okay, cool. Can we also do the alignment to left? Okay. Hey, we got our first tip of the stream rolling in from Deborah, who says, finally able to help. I got a pay raise from work and wanted to pay it forward on extra money earned. Well, thank you, Deborah, for supporting the arts and my show in particular. I appreciate it. That's going to get us our first full face camera expansion. Please direct your attention down here to where slot 9 would be, so I can say, howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee-da-dee-dee-dee. Okay, so... So we've got Kent, we've got Kent and Edmund unassigned. What do we know about Kent and Edmund? Oh wait, no. Edmund we have twice for some reason. So let's delete that. Okay. Okay, Kent is the Earl of Kent. I don't think he has any relation with most of the characters here, but he's got... The Earl of Kent has 368 lines, so this needs to be a voice that I can do. What do we know about Kent? I think it's in the north of England. Oh, we could also do a Scottish accent. Now, to some degree, like, if Lear is gonna have the Ted voice, I mean, maybe Goneril and Reagan should also have California accents. So maybe we remove the New Jersey Ant from Goneril. We could give that to Kent, actually. That might be funny, because that's a fun one to do. And it shows... So whereas Goneril and Reagan, Lear's two oldest daughters, we could do the Bill S. Preston for Goneril. And for Reagan, just more of a slightly generic California accent. Hey, Chloe the Great and Powerful. We are just writing up some notes about some possible voices for King Lear. We're not going to start for real in earnest this week, but I'm trying to get a sense of which of these would work. Cordelia, Badger wants to do Cordelia, but if Badger can't make it, it'll probably be Beetlejuice West Coast. And that gets us through most of our main characters. Now, we do have, like, the Duke of Cornwall has 100 lines, and then we have a pretty sharp fall off. Maybe we just try Nashville accent for him. And we Okay. So this seems like some viable concepts here. For these voices. This could work. So let's go ahead and let's have a sip of the drink before we completely kill our voices here. Would it be funny to do Reagan with the JFK voice? Well, the thing is, if anything, we would do Reagan with a Reagan accent. Like, if you want... Okay, so Centauron says, would it be funny to do Reagan with a JFK voice because Reagan and JFK were both presidents? I mean, if anything, I should practice my Ronald Reagan accent if we were going to do it that way. So, here we go. So... I'm just going to try this, pronouncing this the way I think somebody from Massachusetts would pronounce it. Okay. Act 1, Scene 1. A room of state in King Lear's palace. Enter Kent, Gloucester, and Edmund. Okay, and my notes here are, Kent is going to be the New Jersey aunt. This one's going to be elderly Cape Cod. And then Edmund is younger Cape Cod. Okay. So here we go. Trying this out. Oh, I thought... It's hard for me to jump into the Jersey voice without thinking of, like, things that my aunt would tell my dad. Like, oh my gosh, Joseph, no, you're wrong. Daddy always said this. He only said that to you because you were blah, blah, blah. Okay. I thought the king more affected than the... Hold on. I thought the king more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall. It did always seem so to us, but now, in the division of the kingdom, it appears not which of the dukes he values most, for qualities are so weighed that curiosity in neither can make choice of either's moiety. Is this not your son, my lord? His breeding, sir, hath been at my charge. I have so often blushed to acknowledge him, that I am now braced to do it. I cannot conceive you. Sir, this young fellow's mother could, whereupon she grew round-wombed, and indeed, sir, a son for her cradle ere she had a husband for her bed. Do you smell a fault? I cannot wish the fault undone, the issue of it being so proper. But I have a son, sir, by order of law, some year elder than this, who yet is no dearer in my account, though this knave came something saucily to the world before he was sent for, yet was his mother fair. There was good sport at his making, and the whoreson must be acknowledged. Do you know this noble gentleman, Edmund? And now we gotta. So we're trying. This is an experiment. We're not reading these scenes exactly straight through. We're trying to get a sense of how the characters are going to interact, whether or not the accents I can bounce between them, that sort of thing. So for Edmund, we need a similar voice, but not the same. Like maybe he should be. So for Edmund, we want to still do something nasal, but not maybe so elderly, a little bit more youthful and vibrant. So, no, my lord. My lord of Kent, remember him hereafter as my honorable friend. My services to your lordship. I must love you, and sue to know you better. Sir, I shall study deserving. He hath been out 9 years, and away he shall again. The king is coming. Enter Lear, Cornwall, Albany, Goneril, Reagan, Cordelia, and attendants. Now we're going to try Lear for the first time.
Attend the lords of France and Burgundy. Gloucester?
Oh, no. No, he's speaking to Gloucester. Okay.
Attend the lords of France and Burgundy, Gloucester.
I shall, my lord.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in 3 our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall and you are no less loving son of Albany. We have this hour a constant will to publish our daughters several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The princes, France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most? That we, our largest bounty, may extend where nature doth with merit challenge. Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
So for Goneril, I was going to try the Bill S. Preston Esquire. Oh, wait, we spelled that wrong. Hold on, let me. Bill S. Preston Esquire. And then Badger. Okay, there we go. Adding some notes here. Hey, Lizzie Mac, we're doing some accent checks for a potential reading of King Lear for the coming weeks, while we run this incredibly long-running replay mod thing. Okay. Getting 60 frames a second at 4K is not cheap, it turns out. So, Goneril's going to speak first, and I've got to channel that Bill S. Preston accent. Okay, hold on. It's a little deeper than Ted's. It's been a while since I've done Bill. Ted is always one of the most natural voices for me to do, but Bill is more like,
no way, dude.
So, here.
Sir, I love you more than word can wield the matter, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty. Beyond what can be valued, rich or rare, no less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as child e'er loved or father found. A love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much, I love you.
And then Cordelia has an aside here. For Cordelia, when Badger's not here, I was going to try to do a California spin on Beetlejuice. And I've never tried this before, so here we go. We're pushing ourselves a little bit here. It's so hey, this is about how we get that Beetlejuice voice. But now, if I was like, hey, it's me, your pal, the Beetlejuice. I'm going surfing. I'm gonna hang 10. Wow, this is not really changing anything. This is oh, let's have a most excellent adventure. It sounds like it sounds like I'm being sarcastic. It's just sarcastic Beetlejuice. Ugh. What shall Cordelia speak? Love, and be silent.
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and champaigns reigned, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady to thine and Albany's issue. Be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife of Cornwall? Speak.
Okay, so for Reagan, we have written down in my notes here, generic Cali. That's short for California. Rest in peace. So, like, if I was going to try and do, like, a generic California accent, I think I might get a little bit more like this. Just a little bit of a vocal fry at the end of the words. This is distinct from the San Dimas accent, because it's like its own whole thing.
Sir, I am made of the self-metal as my sister, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart,
This is like just kind of a higher pitched Ted. Well, I'm gonna take a sip of the soda. We're playing around here. Joe Valley, yeah, the Valley Joe accent. Like, if I was gonna do like a
OMG, whatever. Sir, I am made of the self-metal as my sister, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart, I find she names my very deed of love. Only she comes short. That I profess myself an enemy to all other joys, which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find I am alone felicitate of your dear highness's love.
then poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I am sure my love's more ponderous than my tongue. Hey, welcome, Raiders. We are we're rendering a replay mod render, and while that runs, I am doing some experimental Shakespeare voice tests. A Swagmaster says, Joe, I saw Shakespeare and had to join. What are you reading? I was just in a performance of A Winter Tale, and it was a crazy show. Awesome. I'm reading King Lear. I'm actually going to see it on stage in Avon in Canada in October. And so I'm preparing to do a 5-week performance of King Lear with my fiance doing the voice of Cordelia. But before I get somebody else in here to read it with me, I need to actually, like, practice a bunch of the accents that I'm going to try and do. And so you can see I've got my list here of the different accents and stuff that I'm going to try doing. We were just trying to get Reagan's accent. I'm not happy with it yet. Lear, I'm going to try doing kind of like an elderly an elderly Ted Theodore Logan. I'm kind of just doing the Beetlejuice for Cordelia as a placeholder because my fiance Badger Spanner is going to do Cordelia's voice as Cordelia Chase from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But so I'm in Act 1, Scene 1, and I'm about to do Lear's next line. This is just a test. We're not really taking this seriously tonight. In the future, we're going to say, okay, 1 week we're doing Act 1, 1 week we're doing Act 2, that sort of thing. But this is just testing out the voices, seeing how they work together. So that way we don't have any big surprises. Because unlike Dracula, there's a lot of back and forth in Shakespeare, and the voices have to be a lot more clearly distinct from each other. Unless I want to read the name of the character every time. Like, unless you want me to read it like Lear.
To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril. Now our joy, although the last and least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be entrusted. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Cordelia. Nothing, my lord.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again?
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more nor less.
How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
Good, my lord. You have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return those duties back as are right fit. Obey you, love you, and most honor you. I have my sister's husbands. If they say they love you all, haply, when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my plight shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Aye, my good lord.
So young and so untender?
So young, my lord, and true.
Let it be so. Thy truth, then, be thy dower, for by the sacred radiance of the sun,
Excuse me.
the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by all the operations of the orbs, from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity and property of blood, and, as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. The barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation messes to gorge his appetite, shall to my bosom be as well neighbored, pitied, and relieved, as thou, my sometimes daughter.
And then for Kent, we've got my New Jersey aunt voice. We're going to cut in here with, here. Hold on. Like, this is one of the hardest voices to switch to if I don't practice it in advance. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Good, my liege.
Peace, Kent! Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most, and thought to see my rest on her kind nursery.
To Cordelia.
Hence, and avoid my sight. So be my grave my peace, as here I give her father's heart from her. Call France. Who stirs? Call Burgundy, Cornwall, and Albany. With my 2 daughters' dowers digest this third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you jointly with my power, preeminence, and all the large effects that troop with majesty. Ourself by monthly course, with reservation of 100 nights, by you to be sustained, shall our abode make with you by due turn. Only we shall retain the name, and all the addition to a king, the sway.
Trying to do this as an elderly voice is definitely like, I'm feeling it in my throat more than the normal Ted.
Revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons, be yours, which, to confirm, this coronet part between you.
Stephanie Hall says more high pitched. Are you talking about? Are you talking about trying to do Cordelia more high pitched? Yeah, no, he's basically disowning her there. He's mad at her for saying that she doesn't want to have a loveless marriage, unlike her sisters. and like that she says she's basically embarrassed for her sisters to publicly state that they don't love their husbands because all their love is for their father. Anyway, so we're gonna come in. So Lear gives up the crown, and Kent says, Royal Lear, who I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron, thought in my prayers. Or thought on in my prayers. Then Lear.
The bow is bent and drawn. Make from the shaft.
Let it fall rather, though the fork invade the region of my heart, but Kent unmannerly when Lear is mad. What wouldst thou do, old man? Thinkest thou that thy duty shall have dread to speak, when power to flattery bows? To plainness honour's bound, when majesty falls to folly. Reverse thy state, and in thy best consideration, check this hideous rashness. Answer my life, my judgment. The youngest daughter does not love thee least, nor are those empty-hearted, whose low sounds reverb. No hollowness.
Kent, on my life, no more.
My life I never held, but as a pawn, to wage against thine enemies, never to fear to lose it. Thy safety being the motive.
Out of my sight!
See better, Lear, and let me still remain, the true blank of thine eye.
Now, by Apollo!
Now by Apollo, king, thou swearest thy gods in vain.
Oh, vassal! Miscreant!
Laying his hand on his sword. And then Albany and Cornwall interject. I don't know if I have anything for either of those. Dear sir, forbear. Kill thy physician, and the fee bestow upon the foul disease. Revoke thy gift, or, whilst I can vent, clamour from my throat. I'll tell thee, thou dost evil. What about Doc from Back to the Future's voice? I don't know if I can do that one. Also, I think it would come across as a little Rick and Morty, which is not necessarily what I'm going for. Because, like, Doc Brown was kind of the inspiration for Rick. The original cartoon they made that became Rick and Morty was actually called Doc and Marty. And it was supposed to be like Doc Brown and Marty McFly. And it was all about how Doc Brown's just like a complete sociopath dragging Marty on stupid adventures in time. And because of that, because they couldn't get the rights to actually use the Back to the Future characters, that's one of the reasons they have the rule in Rick and Morty that they try not... Well, they don't never do time travel, but they constantly say they don't do time travel. Like, Rick is like, I don't do time travel, it's stupid, type of thing. Because they want to make sure that they're not sued for stealing the characters from Back to the Future. And the characters from Back to the Future are most famous for doing time travel. So... Lear.
Hear me, recreant, on thine allegiance, hear me. Since thou hast thought to make us break our vows, which we durst never yet, and with strained pride to come betwixt our sentences and our power, which nor our nature nor our place can bear.
Okay, you know what? I'm having second thoughts about doing Lear as Ted Theodore Logan. Or sorry, as yeah. I feel like Lear has a lot of lines. And maybe we just go full Joe Hill's Nashville accent here. Let's roll back a little bit. What's something Lear said earlier? So when Lear's first big little, he's got like 16 lines in a row here where he addresses Goneril. Let's try this. Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in three our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, confer them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you are no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The princes, France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court, have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you, shall we say, doth love us most, that we our largest bounty may extend, where nature doth with a merit challenge? Goneril, our eldest born, speak first. I think there's something here. I think there's something here. Yeah, I feel like I've got the most practice and range kind of with that sort of thing. So we have happy Lear who's excited. Got a lot of thunder. I like, part of me, I was tempted to not even do this stream because I was worried about the thunderstorm, and then I was like, but I don't want to turn the computer off in the middle of the render, because I don't want to cancel this 4-hour render. So I'm like, if the computer's on anyway, we might as well stream. But yeah, if the power dies in the middle of this, I will be very annoyed. Okay. So let's see. So let's try the Lear. Let's jump a little bit forward ahead to angry Lear. After Cordelia says that she can't love him as much as her sisters because her sisters are in terrible marriages and she's not going to do that. Should the preview be on for replay mod? It makes it run slower. I just turned it on temporarily to make sure it was still working. It's good to check every so often to make sure there's not something broken in the render. But yeah, we should turn it off now that we're done looking. Okay, so Cordelia explains that, and then we're going to do the Lear a little bit here. But now he's angry. So let it be so. Thy truth then be thy dower. For by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by the operation of the orbs from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my parental care, propinquity, and property of blood. And as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. The barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation messes to gorge his appetite, shall to my bosom be as well neighbored, pitied, and relieved as thou, my sometime daughter. Good, my liege, peace, Kent! Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most, and thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. Hence, and avoid my sight. So be my grave as here, so be my grave my peace, as here I give her father's heart from her. Call France. Who stirs? Call Burgundy. Cornwall and Albany, with my 2 daughters' dowers digest this third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you, jointly with my power, preeminence, and all the large efforts that troop with majesty. Ourself by monthly course, with reservation of 100 knights, by you to be sustained, shall our abode make with you by due turn. Only we shall retain the name, and all the addition to a king, the sway, revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons, be yours, which, to confirm, this coronet part between you. Yeah, I feel like this is, I have more range here than with the TED voice. Yeah. So I'm thinking we do. So for Lear, so Lear, Nashville accent. I'm thinking that for we make Goneril Ted Theodore Logan and Reagan Bill S. Preston Esquire. Okay. Devin Crates writes, "This section startled me. Well, I'm just checking to make sure that I've got that this is going to work, right? So we've got. I'm just going to jump. We're jumping around, just practicing different accents, seeing what fits. Scene 2. A hall in the Earl of Gloucester's castle. Enter Edmund with a letter. Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the pledge of custom, and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me? For that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother. Why bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madman's issue, why brand they us with baseness, bastardry, base, who, in the lusty stealth of nature, take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed, go to the creating a whole tribe of fops got tween asleep and wake. Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund, as to the legitimate, fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed, and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards! Enter Gloucester. Can't banish thus, and France in color parted, and the king gone tonight, prescribed his power, confined to exhibition, all this done upon the gad. Edmund, how now? What news? So please your lordship, none. Putting up the letter. Why so earnestly seek you to put up that letter? I know no news, my lord. What paper were you reading? Nothing, my lord. No? What needed then that terrible dispatch of it into your pocket? The quality of nothing hath not such need to hide itself. Let's see. Come, if it be nothing, I shall not need spectacles. I beseech you, sir, pardon me. It is a letter from my brother that I have not all o'er-read, and for so much as I have perused, I find it not fit for your o'erlooking. Give me the letter, sir. I shall offend either to detain or give it. The contents, as in part I understand them, are to blame. Let's see. I hope for my brother's justification, he wrote this but as an essay, or taste of my virtue. Gloucester reads, This policy and reverence of age makes the world bitter to the best of our times, keeps our fortunes from us till our oldness cannot relish them. I begin to find an idle and fond bondage in the oppression of aged tyranny, who sways not as it hath power, but as it has suffered. Come to me, that of this I may speak more. If our father would sleep till I waked him, you should enjoy half his revenue for ever, and live the beloved of your brother Edgar. Conspiracy. Sleep till I wake him, you should enjoy half his revenue. My son Edgar, had he a hand to write this? A heart and brain to breathe it in? When came this to you? Who brought it? It was not brought me, my lord. There's the cunning of it. I found it thrown in at the casement of my closet. You know the character to be your brother's? If the matter were good, my lord, I dost swear it was his. But in respect of that, I would fain think it were not. It is his. It is his hand, my lord, but I hope his heart is not in the contents. Has he never before sounded you in this business? Never, my lord, but I have heard him oft maintain it to be fit that, sons at perfect age and fathers declined, the father should be as ward to the son, and the son manage his revenue. Oh, villain, villain! His very opinion in the letter. Abhorred villain. Unnatural, detested, brutish villain. Worse than brutish. Go, sirrah, seek him. I'll apprehend him. Abominable villain, where is he? I do not well know, my lord. If it shall please you to suspend your indignation against my brother till you can derive from him better testimony of his intent, you should run a certain course, where, if you violently proceed against him, mistaking his purpose, it would make a great gap in your own honor, and shake in pieces the heart of his obedience. I dare pawn down my life for him, that he hath writ this, to feel my affection to your honor, and no other presence of danger. Pretense of danger. Hey, I think there might be something up with the... It might be because we're running replay mod at the same time. But Stephanie Hall just wrote, lol, I didn't know that about Rick and Morty, which makes me worry that maybe the encoder is now running like 8 minutes behind. So I'm going to say a number, and then I want y'all to type it as soon as I say it, just so I know that this is working. The number is 2023. And you can do that in either Discord or YouTube. I'm watching both. If it's going to be 8 minutes. Okay, Centauratron just did it. Okay, cool. That was not long at all. Great. Awesome. Cool. Well, now that you're all back at your keyboards, just as a quick reminder, tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. That was not a feint. I genuinely was deeply concerned. I was genuinely deeply concerned that this was like running 15 minutes behind, because OBS has been throwing error messages that replay mod is competing with it for GPU. And I was just like, oh boy, okay, that's going to be a whole thing. But also, I also realized that we have gone about 45 minutes and I forgot to post that link. So while I'm over here in this window, I'm going to post the link too. Okay. So real quick, let's take since we're already in a break, we're not reading these scenes all the way through. Could you guys tell the difference between Gloucester and Edmund? Was I doing okay there? Chloe the Great and Powerful tips 14 and says, haha, pretty smooth. Thank you, Chloe the Great and Powerful. Because I was trying to be a little bit more high-pitched with with Gloucester. And I was trying to be a bit lower with Edmund. Sapphire Smith says, not really, honestly. Okay, well, that's going to be a problem. I might need to differentiate them more when we do this. Because there's going to be a lot of them going back and forth with each other. I'll probably end up doing the Fool. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do the Fool as Artie, the strongest man in the world. Okay. Chloe could not tell the difference between the two voices. Okay, that's definitely a problem then. I could try pitching this up higher, even. Why so earnestly seek you to put up that letter? I know no news, my lord. What paper were you reading? Nothing, my lord. No, What needed then this terrible dispatch of it into your pocket? The quality of nothing hath not such need to hide itself. Let's see. Come, if it be nothing, I shall not need spectacles. I beseech you, sir, pardon me. It is a letter from my brother that I have not all o'erread, and for so much as I have perused, find it not fit for your overlooking. I tried to make Edmund a little bit more, I tried to make Edmund a little bit more bass there and Gloucester a little bit more shrill. Stephanie Hall says, what is 2023? Sapphire Smith says, I think the problem might be that when you use that voice in Dracula, you use the whole range just for emphasis with one character. Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Okay. A bit more bass for Edmund. Ha ha ha. Why brand they us with base? With baseness? My stanza. I don't know if I can do with it. Ooh. Let me see. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit. Let me see if I can find a good scene with the fool. Dang it. That was a mistake. The open country. No. Lear. Okay, enter Lear, fool, and gentleman. Okay. Before Gloucester's castle, Kent in the stocks. Okay. So, we've got Lear, gentleman, Kent, fool. I don't have a voice for gentleman prepared, so I'm just going to do something at random. We'll see how it goes. Hey, Ralsei, we are trying to get some accents figured out for a King Lear reading. This is a little bit different from Dracula, and I want to make sure that I've thought it through. So, okay. So, once again, you're not supposed to necessarily be following the story right now. We're just jumping around, testing the accents in different scenes. So if you're like, what? Why is Kent in stocks? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Why are you in front of Gloucester's castle? Who cares? It doesn't matter. We're testing the accents. So we got Lear, gentleman, Kent, Lear, Kent, fool, Lear, Kent. So, 'tis strange that they should depart. 'Tis strange that they should so depart from home, and not send back my messenger. As I learned the night before, there was no purpose in them of this remove. Hail to thee. Oh, well, no. Kent is more like, oh my god. Hail to thee, noble master. And then, oh my gosh, this is so hard. So, like, with Dracula, they didn't have 6-word lines. I had, like, paragraphs between the switching of the accents. This is way harder. Hold on. Hail to thee, noble master. Ha! Makest thou this shame thy pastime? Oh, no, my lord.
Ha ha! He wears cruel garters. Horses are tied by the heads. Dogs and bears by the neck. Monkeys by the loins. And men by the legs. when a man is over lusty at legs, then he wears wooden nether stocks.
Yeah, switching from the arty voice in and out might be a problem. But this might work. Let me see. So the Fool, oh my gosh. The Fool has a lot of kind of long bits though. I'm a little worried the arty voice might be too much. Well, I'm just going to pick a particularly long section for the Fool. And we'll see if it works. Let me get another sip of my drink, because this is... taking a lot out of me. Okay. Excuse me. Okay.
Will set thee to school to an ant, to teach thee there's no labouring in the winter. All that follow their noses are led by their eyes, but blind men. And there's not a nose among 20 but can smell him that's stinking. Let go thy hold when a great wheel runs down a hill, lest it break thy neck with following it. But the great one that goes upward, let him draw thee after. When a wise man gives thee better counsel, give me mine again. I would have none but knaves follow it, since a fool gives it.
Yeah, Grace Winter says, I don't know, arty for the Fool doesn't really do it for me. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, because, like, Van Helsing has already worked because Van Helsing is very pompous and has a weird accent. Like, his English is intentionally written to be broken. But... the Fool is supposed to be clever, although he's obfuscatory to some degree. I don't think this is gonna work. Hey, welcome Brianna and Darn. Glad you could join us. We're currently getting ready to do our next big reading. We did Dracula for a few months in a row. Then we kind of took a break, and I want to try and do King Lear. Which is notoriously difficult to stage effectively. But we're not staging it. I'm just trying to make accents, figure out accents for the characters so y'all can tell who I'm talking of. Okay. Boy. Triforce says, can you do a very self-important accent? Relcy says, this is perfect. The summer theater I work at is slowing down for the season, and now I have something to fill the void. Well, we're not starting right away. I'm not saying we're starting next Saturday or anything, because we're probably going to do this late August into September. But I'm trying to get ahead on it since this replay mod render is just taking forever. Okay. Okay. Do I have I have my kind of Oh my gosh, I am like exhausted. I spent like twice as many hours at the airport today as I expected to, picking up my daughter, and then we've been running around all day getting ready for back to school stuff. We're gonna be running around all day tomorrow doing back to school stuff. It's fine, but yeah, my brain. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, let me see if I can do my Thames accent. Good evening. This is Joseph Hills with BBC One. Up next, we're going to be visiting the Fool, who is about to deliver a speech to Kent, who is currently in the stocks. We'll set thee to school to an ant, to teach thee there's no labouring in the winter. All that follow their noses are led by their eyes, but blind men. And there's not a nose among 20 but can smell him that's stinking. Let go thy hold when a great wheel runs down a hill, lest it break thy neck with following it. But the great one that goes upward, let him draw thee after. When a wise man gives thee better counsel, give me mine again. I would have none but knaves follow it, since a fool gives it. That, sir, which serves and seeks for gain, and follows but for form, will pack when it begins to rain, and leave thee in the storm. But I will tarry, the fool will stay, and let the wise man fly. The knave turns the fool that runs away. The fool, no knave, per day. And then, what do we have for Kent's voice? Oh, yeah. Oh my god, where'd you learn this, fool? Not in the stocks, fool. Yeah, I've Stephanie Hall is definitely behind. Yeah, you're, yeah. Okay, cool. So that's fine. Uh, okay, so I feel like maybe we do. Relsi says the New Jersey ant is very accurate. Yeah, I've got so my parents are both from New Jersey, and even though I only lived there for 6 months as a baby, like I think I was trying to channel how they talk to my dad, where they're always chiding him by name, because he'll tell a story and they'll be like, Joseph, that is only half of what happened. You know that Daddy never put things in the car unless he intended to use them immediately. Otherwise, he would leave them out, and he would tell one of the kids to carry them and then load them in the wagon that would get towed behind the car. And then he would unload the wagon later, or something like that. It would be something like, or the trailer or whatever. But it's always just them but it's always them. So it's just this kind of like, blah blah blah. Like I'm trying. Yeah. Ralsei says the full name. You're so right. OMG, I never noticed that, but it's so true. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm just gonna try and find what are some other. Okay, what's the most famous Lear monologue? Or Lear monologues? Okay. There's the Blow Winds Blow, but that's later on. I don't think we want to do that one tonight. That's a little bit too important. Cordelia's from Akbar. Well, we did that one already, so I'm or are you talking about where she talks tells her she complains about her sisters, or a separate one. Ba, 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 ba. So let's try this Kent speech to the gentleman real quick, just to see. So Kent is asking a gentleman where the king is. And he's like, "Sir, I do know you." Oh, hold on. "Sir, I do know you, and dare, upon the warrant of my note, commend a dear thing to you. There is division, although as yet the face of it be covered with mutual cunning, twixt Albany and Cornwall, who have, as who have not, that their great stars throned and set high, servants who seem no less, which are to France the spies and speculations intelligent of our state. What hath been seen, either in snuffs and packings of the dukes, or in the hard reign which both of them have borne against the old kind king, or something deeper, whereof perchance these are but furnishings. But true it is, from France there comes a power into the scattered kingdom, who, already wise in our negligence, have secret feet in some of our best ports, and are at point to show their open banner. Now, to you, it is on, if on my credit you dare build so far to make your speed to Dover, you shall find some of that, I have not, this is like the first time I'm reading these. I'm just testing the accent so I don't have these inside and out. Now to you, if on my credit you dare build so far to make your speed to Dover, you shall find some that will thank you, just making report of how unnatural and bemaddening sorrow the king hath caused to plain. I am a gentleman of blood and breeding, and from some knowledge and assurance, offer this office to you. Yeah, that seems fine. I feel like that's fine. Let's just jump around a little bit more, trying some of the different voices. I'm just scrolling through the Project Gutenberg thing here, looking for any long bits that we might want to test. I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm kind of spent. We've been at this for 90 minutes. And part of the point of this was to get back in practice with the voices. Sadly, the replay mod is still rendering, so this is going to be a minute. See, it's rendering the zoom, like, boom, 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 boom. Oh, there's the lapis lazuli we found. It's not going to render the mask of the eyepiece, sadly. But I think that's going to look better on a big television anyway. So, I think that's okay. Anyway, we'll hide the preview so it stops taking so long. But, okay. Yeah, we've been... I feel like... Okay, does anybody have any notes or thoughts on the accents thus far? There was the concern that the Massachusetts voices are too close together. The elderly Cape Cod and the base Cape Cod are too close, is what I'm hearing. So I'm going to have to brainstorm on that. Albany has a lot of lines in one scene, so I'm going to have a voice for Albany to argue with Goneril. This gentleman has a lot more lines than I thought. So I'm definitely going to have him sorted out. So Lear has 5,600 words, basically. Edgar has like 2,900 words. Kent has 2,600 words. Gloucester has 2,500. Edmund has 2,400. So we've got 3 of these main characters are all in one family. So I want to have them in the same family of accents. Alex the Ghost says, ooh, are we doing King Lear? I'm working on it. Mahi says, why not serious work, Joe, for the fool? Well, we actually tried the BBC presenter voice, and it actually worked pretty well. My Thames accent thing seemed to work okay. We didn't end up in the middle of the Irish Sea, so that was nice. Pleasant surprise there. Okay. Okay. So any other feedback from anybody? I'm just talking through this, but when I talk through things, I do well bouncing off other people. So if y'all have anything you want to jump in with, I'm very curious. I know Lear isn't the most accessible Shakespeare play, but it's the one I'm going to see in Canada, in Stratford. It's got Paul Gross as Lear. I'm very excited about this. So the actual runtime of the play I'm going to see is 2 hours and 53 minutes, including one 18-minute intermission. All runtimes are approximate. But in theory, if we do 1 act a week, we could get that done in about an hour, even with the extra me accepting tips and talking to the chat and stuff. Rulsey, okay. Stephanie Hall says maybe Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Baby Bear pitches to the Cape Cod accents. Yeah, maybe. Rulsey says it's definitely a bit of a challenge to do similar accents but distinguish voices, play with pitch and talking speed like Stephanie said. Yeah, probably. Okay. Okay. So let's go back to... If we go back to Gloucester and Ed... Scrolling up a little bit. It's hard jumping around in this play. When we're actually reading it, we'll just be going sequentially, so that's fine. But, like, swap the fool and stage directions, says Grace Winder. I don't know if I can do the stage directions in the posh voice. Act 2, Scene 1. A court within the castle of the Earl of Gloucester. Enter Edmund and Curin. Meeting. Well, no, that actually works. That might be okay. Actually, that was... Yeah, it was Act 2, Scene 1. So, Act 1, Scene 5. Court before the Duke of Albany's palace. Enter Lear, Kent, and Fool. That might work. Scene 4. A hall in Albany's palace. Enter Kent, disguised. If I... No, wait, it's like... Oh my god. If I but as well... Oh my gosh, I can't... it's hard for me to jump between these accents quickly. That's part of what we're practicing here and learning. But, yeah, it's like... If I but as well the other accents borrow, then you... Then can my speech my defense? Oh my gosh. Just as a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, which it's okay if you're not, but if you want to support me anyway, or if you're enjoying this, tips are welcome via paypal.me/showhills and YouTube Super Chat. I can definitely tell this is the sort of thing I should be doing because of the difficulty I'm having with it. Being able to jump between these voices better will be funnier in the long term. It'll help me do more amusing things. So I feel like this is an excellent exercise. I feel as though this is an excellent exercise, although I'm having a hard time ping-ponging, if you will, between the different voices. Okay. So let's jump. Also, like I said, I spent a lot of time in the airport today picking up my daughter. So Mama Bear, Baby Bear, Papa Bear with the Cape Cod accents. What would that be? Why so earnestly seek you to put up that letter? I know no news, my lord. What paper were you reading? Nothing, my lord. No? What needed then that terrible dispatch of it into your pocket? The quality of nothing hath not much need to hide itself. Let's see. Come, if it be nothing, I shall not need spectacles. I beseech you, sir, pardon me. It is a letter from my brother that I have not all o'erread, and for so much as I have perused it, find it not fit for your o'erlooking. Mahi says, what if you do the Beetlejuice? What if you Beetlejuice the accent for the disguised versions? Yeah, there is like the, for Kent, when Kent is like, I'm going to do an accent, I could have him do like, Wazowski. Like, hold on. If I but other accents borrow, then can my speech diffuse my good intent, may carry through itself to full issue, for which I raised my likeness. Now, banished Kent, if thou canst serve where thou dost stand condemned. So, wow, I've switched back into the Cape Cod there. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. If I, but as well other accents borrow, then can my speech diffuse, my good intent may carry through itself to that full issue, for which I raised my likeness. Now, banish it. Ugh. Yeah, I think I've just been at this too long. I think I'm starting to drift just from exhaustion, I think. This is... I feel like an hour and a half of accent practice is not bad. If I'm starting to hit my endurance limit at the hour and a half mark, that's pretty consistent with where we were on Dracula, where I could read for about an hour and a half with some breaks in there. And we haven't really taken a lot of breaks. So, Stephanie Hole, thank you so much for tipping $20.23. That's going to come out to 20 US Abacus beads. Who says, Thank you, Joe and chat, for helping me figure out that I was in a 20-minute delay. Well, that is going to get us one full face camera expansion, Stephanie. So here we go. Expand, Joe. Do. Okay. Welcome, MPK. Glad you could join us. What is that? Oh, that's a train. The Nickel Plate Road 765 locomotive. Very cool. Rolsey says, honestly, an hour and a half playing around with that many accents is impressive on its own. Well, I'm trying to make... This is primarily a visual medium, and our visual part of the medium is kind of failing us right now with this replay mod render eating up my computer's processing power. So... It says right on the screen your performance would suffer. Well, I mean, anytime I check the preview, performance suffers. But... Oh, you're saying my accent performance is suffering because I took a break to look at that. That's fine. I get it now. Anyway, thanks to Stephanie Hall for putting us $6 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. Whew. Taking a sip of my drink, just gonna breathe for a minute. Maybe not a whole minute, but just thinking about, we just did a lot, but it's not enough to just do things. We need to reflect on them. But yeah, the joke we were about to do before the tip rolled in was Kent trying to pretend not to be Kent. So Kent is trying to work for... Kent has been sent away, and he's trying to get a job with King Lear to help him out. Chloe the Great and Powerful tips 7 and says, I've missed the reading so much, so glad to see signs of their return. Well, thank you very much, Chloe the Great and Powerful. That's going to get us $1 past our next face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. It's time to expand, Joe. Do. Yeah, don't roll in and just, also to that person, just don't roll in and just start asking people if they like things that are like, oh, hey, guess what I might be getting paid to promote? Like that's, yeah, I don't have any time for, like, guerrilla marketing here. It's like, there's a new season now available on streaming service. Let me go into this person's stream and ask them about it because I'm getting paid to start as many conversations about it as I can. No. Yeah, that's a ban. Don't, if the first thing you say in a stream is spamming about shows that just relaunched, you're getting banned. Okay. I'm trying to do this. Okay. So, horns within. Enter King Lear, knights, and attendants. Let me stay not a jot for dinner. Go get it ready. Exit an attendant. How now? What art thou? A man, sir. What dost thou profess? What wouldst thou with us? I do profess to be no less than what I seem, to serve him truly, that will put me in trust, to love him, that is honest, to converse with him that is wise and says little, to fear judgment, to fight when I cannot choose, and, to eat no fish. What art thou? A very honest-hearted fellow, and as poor as the king. If thou beest as poor for a subject as he is for a king, thou art poor enough. What wouldst thou? Service. Who would you serve? You. Dost thou know me, fella? No, sir, but you have that in your countenance which I would fain call master. What's that? Authority. What services canst thou do? I can keep honest counsel, ride, run, mar a curious tale in telling it, and deliver a plain message bluntly. that which ordinary men are fit for, I am qualified in, and the best of me is diligence. How old art thou? Not so young, sir, to love a woman for singing, nor too old to dote on her for anything. I have years on my back, 48. Follow me. Thou shalt serve me. If I like thee no worse after dinner, I will not part from thee yet. Dinner, dinner. Where's my knave? My fool. Go you, and call my fool hither. Exit an attendant. Enter Oswald. You, Sirrah, where's my daughter? So please ye... Exit. What says the fellow there? Call the clot pole back. Exit a knight. Where's my fool? I think the world's asleep. Re-enter knight. How now? Where's the mongrel? He says, my lord, your daughter is not well. Okay. Yeah, I mean... yeah, doing Kent with the one Jersey accent and then having him do the, Wazowski, your paperwork voice. What's that? I don't know what that lady's name is, but I can do the cigarette gravelly voice for the Kent in, disguise. I think that'll work. Okay, we got about 13 minutes left. Let's look at this here. Roz, thank you. Relcy says the disguised Kent voice is so funny. I love it. Thank you. Yeah. Just jumping around here a little bit. So after Kent shows up with the accent, let me see if he's got any other funny speeches. Or maybe not speeches, but just to get... He's got like some lines here and there, but I want to see if the Roz voice does anything later with Kent. So Lear, Scene 5, Court before the Duke of Albany's palace. Enter Lear, Kent, and Fool. Go you before to Gloucester with these letters. Acquaint my daughter no further with anything you know than comes from her demand out of the letter. If your diligence be not speedy, I shall be there afore you. I will not sleep, my lord, till I have delivered your letter. Okay, so then Kent goes away. Let's see when he reemerges. Before Gloucester's castle, he runs into Oswald here. What do I know about Oswald? Oswald doesn't have a... He's Goneril's steward. Okay. Goneril is the oldest daughter of Lear. So Oswald asks Kent... We're jumping around here a lot. I'm just testing the voices. But Oswald asks Kent, what dost thou know me for? And Kent replies, a knave, a rascal, an eater of broken meats, a base, proud, shallow, beggarly, three-suited, 100-pound, filthy, worsted-stocking knave, a lily-livered, action-taking whoreson, class-gazing, super-serviceable, finical rogue, one trunk-inheriting slave, one that wouldst be in a bawd in way of good service, and art nothing but the composition of a knave, a beggar, a coward, pander, and the son and heir. Wow, he really leans it. Wow, yeah, this is. Yeah, he really goes at him here. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into this. Okay, let me. Oswald. Conrail's Loyal Store. Okay. So, Lear and Oswald. Kent and Oswald quarrel. They're sending letters through Oswald throughout the play. So I am going to have to figure out a voice for Oswald, too. Okay, well, we've got, it's 10:20, and we have the stream scheduled to end at 10:30. I'm not super picky about sticking to that on weekends, but I had to wake up very early to get to the airport, and then the flight was delayed by 2 hours, so I spent a lot of my energy today on airport-related things, picking up my daughter. I'm delighted to report, if you're just joining us, that she is home safe. Other than the delay, there was no real problems with the flight or anything. Everything's great. I am happy to have her back. We did a lot of fun stuff today. Could Oswald be the Scottish Shrek voice? That's not a bad choice. It's not a bad choice. Let me see if I can find an Oswald bit. Aye. My lord of Gloucester hath conveyed him hence, some 5 or 6 or 30 of his knights. Hot questress after him, met him at the gate, who, with some other of the lord's dependents, are gone with him toward Dover, where they boast to have well-armed friends. I don't think that's close. I'm gonna have to practice that one too. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is good. It's good to see how out of practice I am, so I can get better. Okay. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna wrap the stream at 10:30. Last call for tips. Welcome via paypal.me/showhills and YouTube Super Chat. We are currently 19 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Okay. Let's see, anything I need to address here? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Okay. Just checking all my things here, making sure we're ready to wrap up. Stephanie Hall says, thank you for the stream, Joe. Good night. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you to everybody who joined us from the raids. Is anybody who showed up from the raids still here, just out of curiosity? Because, like, this is the least Minecraft stream I've done in a long time, as we've been just waiting on replay mod to knock this stuff out. Performance might suffer. This is gonna look really good when it's edited, but y'all, oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Even if we're not gonna do a formal raid. Nothing really going on at all. Slow night. Uh-oh. Okay, no, the site's muted. I was gonna say, it's about to get very loud, but no, it's not. Okay, what is this? Okay. Oh. Yeah. Chloe the Great and Powerful says, thank you for the stream. Thank you, Chloe. Appreciate it. Okay. Both the title role and so just pulling up King Lear on Wikipedia, getting some background info. The title role and supporting roles have been coveted by accomplished actors, and the play has been widely adapted. In his A Defense of Poetry, Percy Bysshe Shelley called King Lear the most perfect specimen of the dramatic art existing in the world. So get ready to watch me mangle it. The play is regularly cited as one of the greatest works of literature ever written. We aim high here. We aim high here. Oh, yeah, yeah. Shakespeare's play is based on various accounts of the semi-legendary Brythonic figure Lear of Britain, whose name has been linked by some scholars to the Brythonic god Lear, although in actuality the names are not etymologically related. Shakespeare's most important source is probably the second edition of the Chronicles of England, Scotland, and Ireland by Raphael Holinshed, published in 1587. Holinshed himself found the story in the earlier Historia Regum Britanniae by Geoffrey of Monmouth, which was written in the 12th century. Edmund Spenser's The Faerie Queene, published 1590, also contains a character named Cordelia, who also dies, blah, 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 as in King Lear. King Lear is a literary variant of a common folktale, Love Like Salt. The synopsis of the folktale is, a king with 3 beautiful daughters asks them how much they love their father. The eldest says, I love you as bright as the sunshine. The second says, I love you as wide as the ocean. And the youngest says, oh, father, I love you as much as water and salt. Boom, 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 boom. I've never heard of this water and salt thing before. I knew that Lear was based on a common folktale, but I didn't know it was called water and salt. I'm linking that real quickly in the YouTube. Changes from source material. Besides the subplot involving the Earl of Gloucester and his sons, the principal innovation Shakespeare made was the at the end. Shakespeare's tragic ending was much criticized, and alternative versions were written. Tate's version, where Cordelia married Edgar at the end, held the stage for 150 years. Wow. People didn't like Shakespeare's original ending a lot. The characters Earl of Kent and the Fool were created wholly by Shakespeare in order to engage in character-driven conversations with Lear. Oswald the Stored, confidant of Goneril, was created as a similar expository device. Shakespeare's Lear and the other characters make oaths to Jupiter, Juno, and Apollo. While the presence of Roman religion in Britain is technically an anachronism, nothing was known about any religions that existed in Britain at the time of Lear's alleged life. Okay. Well, We have made it to 10:30. I'm going to do one last hard refresh on PayPal to make sure we haven't missed any tips. And then we are going to wrap up. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling across the finish line here. But like I said, this was a particularly long day. There's a reason I don't go to the airport for several hours every day. So, Ralsei says, this was a lovely stream to wrap up the night, but enjoyed catching morning coffees when I see them and just love hanging out on the streams. Lone Courier says, glad to make it to the stream. Bye, Joe. Alrighty, well, have a good night, y'all. Thank y'all so much to everyone who joined, everyone who tipped, everyone who hung out and put up with this widely variant thing compared to what we normally do. This is laying the groundwork for something interesting for future Saturdays, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I just got to make sure I got it set up right. So, anyway, thank y'all so much. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.